How's it going? I hope you're doing as good as I'm doing today. I'm in the middle today. Two middle days back to back. It is what it is, but it's the humbling feelings of something new not working out exactly the way that I had imagined. That it can take you down just a little bit, but it's always up to you on how low you want to let it take you. So I got to make the most of the situation I got. Physically, I can give it a solid 8.5, 8.5. Like, everything felt pretty together. Like, I was really strong today. Like, I drove to the bench. That was awesome. Pushed hard on the clean and jerks. Trying out some new form today. I put my, same thing as the other day, literally yesterday. On my snatch and my clean and jerk, I wanted to see how it felt to put my grip slightly more narrow. But I don't think it's working. I'm always one to say to give it time, but I'm also one to say to listen to your body. So I at least wanted to give it one session each to really see where it would take me and what new fruitful experiences it would give me. And sometimes the best you can take away from a situation is that it just wasn't what you needed, which is never a bad thing. Every learning experience is what makes you a better lifter, no matter what. Mentally, I'll give it an 8. It was a solid day. I had a lot of homies around, a lot of support, and the lifts did feel pretty good. Like, when it came to the bench, not as strong as I was the other day, but I think I'm just tired. But I still put up the same weight, which was really impressive. And I got to the clean and jerks, and same deal. I felt pretty powerful, even though I felt less efficient with the new grip. I guess it's really important to remember, I got to tell myself all this shit sometimes too, that just because something new that you wanted to try ended up failing, and not being the new change that you needed, it does not mean that you failed whatsoever. In fact, I believe that in its own is its own type of success, because at least for me, I put in as much effort as I had, and I called it when I didn't want to put my body over the line, because unfortunately with Olympic especially, I feel like this is anything with lifting. Typically, when you try something new to see if it's going to work out for the better, to make your form a little bit different when you've been doing the same thing for so long, even though there may be some positives to it, there's normally some kickback. In my case, on the clean and jerks, I literally put the grip in. It was maybe an inch, not too much, but that inch, it made the clean feel better on the catch, but I did have to pull in harder than I would if I had my grip where it used to be. And what was even worse, which is honestly what made me the most humbled, it's always saddening in its own way, but my shoulders and elbows did not, and my hands, nothing really felt good on the jerk. I was trying my hardest to get some good splits, but if your shoulders and your lockout, your joints, wrist, elbows, and shoulders on your split jerk, if those are not intact and landing when you need them to at a confident pace, it's gonna create more bad habits out of your split jerk. In my case, my worst habit on my split jerk is that I push forward on my front foot when it gets too heavy overhead, and I can't put the stress onto my core and let my let my back leg go down a little bit. That's something I've been working on for a long time. That has gotten a lot better over time, but it's just, unfortunately, with this grip, it was just not it. My left arm especially, which is the one that's had issues in the past, was really flaring up, and I haven't had a flare up like today since I was doing 15 sets of workout, and it's a scary place to be. I never want to feel like that. I want to feel like my body's working with me, not against me. So, as shitty as it may feel, and as sad as I am that it didn't work out the way I exactly wanted it to, I still put in good efforts. That is what is really important. It's very eye-opening and can create more levels of assurance when I get to take my next step. This is why I say everybody should do trial and error for their programming and their training. Is although there's some risk, as long as you're keeping your physical health in mind first as a top priority, there's always so much you can learn about your own body that you're never going to be like someone else. Everybody's very unique in the way that they lift, in the way that their body performs during said lift, especially Olympic lifting. Everybody's different. So even though with most people, when you do that slightly closer grip, makes it a lot more compact and a lot more explosive, my long ass arms, my spaghetti noodle arms, and my long ass femurs, it did not give me the results that I wanted. Realistically, the clean felt almost just as intensive as it normally does. While although I did catch it in a more upright position, I don't think that me changing my grip is necessarily what needs to change. It can be hard. This is why trial and error needs to be such an important key factor. It can be really easy to lose yourself in trying too many things at once, when in reality you might just need a little bit more form work, or a little bit more technique work, a little bit more explosiveness, stuff like that. Honestly, a day like today is making me think of changing up the program a little bit again, which it hasn't been that long, but it's never an issue to put in a little change. I'm not trying to change everything and rewrite my whole lifting career. I want to give it my best effort while I'm still in an experimental phase. You're never going to be your peak self when it comes to lifting until you've tried everything. And I mean everything. And the list is in the thousands when it comes to Olympic lifting. You can change every single inch and every single physicality of these lifts. The way you lock out, the way your core performs, the way you train your main muscle groups, the way you train your abs, your low back. Everything is different for everybody. And the way that you train along the way also leads to more physical and technique uniqueness. So keeping that in mind, I'm going to really make sure I don't overthink too much. I've put in 2 full days, really trying it and feeling it out. And just from the way it looks, I'm picking up bad habits. The past 2 days, I have shown bad habits that I haven't really shown in a while, or at least not since starting this new program. And I don't feel as physically sound. Yesterday was a bit of a unique day. If you saw yesterday's video, I did a 2-hour debacle to the gym because my car's broken down and I chose to be stubborn and take the bus, which was a mistake. But I felt good, and as many excuses as I could give, I know through my own experiences when I feel good, not only mentally but physically. And yesterday my body was intact, and it was a day where I could have thrown some good weight, and I just did not perform to the level that I'm used to, because I'm changing things up and trying new things and exerting myself more than usual. There's a lot of outside stressors, so it makes sense that I feel this way. But I really need to make sure I listen to my body and not get too ahead of myself, so that I can, in the long run, perform at the utmost best that I can. Honestly, today I felt like I was doing split jerks like I used to a year ago, and it was not a good time. I used to push really hard on my front foot, and now that I think about it, here you go. Here's a funny coincidence. Even back then, I used to have a closer grip. What do you fucking know? So again, it's okay to try some new things, even if you haven't done them in a while. Your body's constantly changing. So even though you've tried something before, it's kind of like food. Even though you've tried something before, it doesn't mean shit. You're growing every day. And if you're consistent, you're definitely growing every day, whether that means you're getting bigger or smaller or whatever. your body needs to be adapted to at a daily basis. It's not just a one and done thing where everybody does the same thing. If that were the case, we'd all be robots. And we're not. We all got unique bodies that respond differently to different ways of training. And today was the first time I felt like I did when I felt at my worst. Not that I felt at my worst today. It's just like, it's that sort of deja vu that tries to chase back at you. And I'm like, oh, maybe it isn't really worth it to put in all this energy into something that might lead to more injury and might lead to less passion and less enjoyment. The past 2 days has been a little rough when it comes to the gym, so I want to make sure that I give myself the availability to change for not just the betterment of my lifts, but the betterment of my own mental health. People don't really realize going to the gym and being physical, I don't even think the main point is being physically stronger. I think the main point of going to the gym and doing better and, trying to just do better than the you that you were the day before is a big mental game. It's trying to prove to yourself that you've got more to fight for. And, although that may seem a little cringy, whatever. I think it's really important to recognize that we're here to have fun. We're not, these extraneous hobbies that we do are never meant to feel obligational or like work or jobs. It's meant to just be fun. So if you feel like you're consistently obligating yourself to go put in the effort and not actually making progress, regardless of physical or mental progress, if you feel like you're stagnant, then change might just be necessary. Regardless if you want to admit it or not, change comes from an innate desire, and typically it's involuntary. It just happens because your body has changed or the way that you enjoy something has changed, and you need to do something different in order to get that passion back and keep it running as long as you can. Because the people who quit at these things quit because they stay stagnant for so long. Like, I grew up doing art my whole childhood. Did it for 18 years. Long time. And I got really good. I won first in Georgia one time in a big competition back when I used to live there. And I was only in 9th grade at the time. Like, I was really excelling in the field. But I simply saw it as a means to an end, a job. Like, I felt like I was just working toward the medals and not the enjoyment of my pieces. I didn't have a lot of originality. I would just copy an image as picture perfect as I could, and it would win me stuff, but people didn't realize that I didn't really come up with it myself, and I didn't really get to enjoy it myself. I was always putting pen on paper for the future idea that I might be happy later. And because of that, I no longer really do it. I would like to get back into it in a healthy way at some point. But it's got to happen at a time where I get that innate, involuntary desire to do so. So for now, I'm not going to overthink it. Same thing with the gym. I'm just going to have fun. And while I'm still in the sport and still enjoying the hobby, I'm going to make sure I give myself the option to keep changing and keep making it fun for myself so that I can continue at the passionate rate that I always do. And because this is something that I never see myself quitting. And so it's never so much of an option to stay stagnant. As much as it sucks in the moment, I always say that you can get mad all you want in those first 5 minutes, but after that, big deep breath and get excited, because that failure, because of how obsessed you may be with that failure like I am today, just means that you're just going to get so much better. You got to really have faith in yourself and know, because you won't really know until you get the experience for it, but I know that this is my next step up, and I'm going to feel insane next week. I'm going to be going super hard at the lifts, doing my absolute damn best, and that's what matters. Just putting in the absolute best that you have every single day. Maximum mental intensity. So take hold of those failures, allow them to make you better. And I promise you, if you're consistent and passionate, the results will show. Take that shit with a grain of salt. That's just me. But I think too many people latch on to a change that they never really even needed. And they don't realize that that change wasn't necessary until they allow themselves to start having fun again. So if you feel like you've been working with some obligation recently and you feel like you're not making any progress, look at how much fun you may actually be having. Because even though it's still a hobby in your day-to-day life and it's still something that you work toward to better yourself at every day, are you working today through discipline and obligation, or are you working through discipline and passion? It's very different. Discipline's important, but the discipline is the icing on the cake, you know? There's no enjoyment without passion. So make sure you're doing it for you and you're giving yourself the best effort that you can, not just to lift a weight in a cool way with a heavy number, but in a way that makes you enjoy life even more. That is truly what is important for it. So that's all I got. Tomorrow's rest day, so unfortunately you won't be seeing me. I know, you'll miss me. Whatever. I'll be back. But I really appreciate the support recently. It's cool to hear from you guys. I always love to hear what you guys got to say. So just let me know how your lifts have been going. And I will be back as always, you know. I got a bar in my garage, so I might honestly just work on my form tomorrow and really see what I like and figure it out. So thanks for listening. I'll be back. See you.